And welcome back, folks. Well, downtown Annapolis is very busy this time of year, and it's not because of any of these boat shows that come into town. I mean, it's way too cold for boating this year, and the ice on the rivers, you're not going anywhere. The 2011 Maryland General Assembly is in session, and this promises to be a tough year for state lawmakers as they continue to address budget shortfalls from the struggling economy. The budget is on everyone's mind, including County Executive John Leopold. This week, he released his priorities for the session, with preventing cuts to local government as the top of the list. But that's not all. He also wants to add transparency to the budget process when it comes to the Board of Education. Several pieces of legislation will require the board to provide more information to the county executive and the county council during budget review. You might also remember the Bear case that got quite a bit of attention here locally and nationally. Last year, a husky was shot by an off-duty federal police officer in a local park. As an animal lover himself, County Executive Leopold felt that the case highlighted the fact that criminal penalties for cruelty to animals were too low. Two proposed bills increase the jail time and fines for cruelty to animals and cruelty using a firearm. Speaking of priorities, County Executive Leopold said, "I look forward to working with our delegation to protect the interests of our citizens and fight for the legislation citizens want from their elected officials."
Joining us this week in for Mary Felter is Pam Jordan from the Department of Aging and Disabilities to tell us more about an exciting opportunity to learn more about services and support for individuals with disabilities. Pam?
Thanks, Karla. Well, I have the pleasure of being in Severna Park today at Woods Memorial Fellowship Hall, and I want to tell our viewers and listeners about a very exciting event coming up on Tuesday the 18th. And I'd like to introduce two of our special guests that are on the show this week. Joining me is Bronwyn Belling, and she is the president of Anne Arundel Women Giving Together. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Great to be with you.
Before we talk about the event, tell us more about Anne Arundel Women Giving Together and the mission of the organization.
Anne Arundel Women Giving Together is a new women's giving circle. We're actually 5 years old and organized here in Anne Arundel County. We have about 150 members, and our mission is really to help improve the quality of life for women and families in Anne Arundel County. And we do this by collecting membership dues from each member. We're now about 150 members strong. And we make grants to nonprofits in the community to help support the needs of our friends and neighbors near us.
That's an amazing organization then. And of course your focus this year is to draw some attention to individuals with disabilities.
Right. Every year we hold about a half a dozen informational and educational sessions for our members and for the public, and they're really intended to help us understand more about the needs in the county and where our money can make the most difference. And we're making grants. We're about to award $300,000 totally in grants over the last 5 years, so we're celebrating our 5th anniversary this year.
That is just amazing, and what a wonderful way to give back to the community. Well, there is a big event coming up on the 18th, on Tuesday the 18th, right here at Woods Fellowship Hall, and we have Joanna Clark with us today. Joanna is also on Anne Arundel Women Giving Together in that organization, and I know her from the Anne Arundel County Commission on Disability Issues. Welcome.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
So can you tell our viewers and listeners more about what is going to happen here at the Woods Fellowship Hall next week?
Yes, on Tuesday night, which is the 18th of January, from 7 to 8:30, we will have a panel discussion and forum on identifying the roadmap for individuals with disabilities to achieve services in the community. And we'll be covering intellectual disabilities, developmental disabilities, and mental health disabilities. So it will be broad, and we realize the complexity of the topic, but we want to get started to put these issues out in the community and get feedback from the community, and we're hoping a lot of members of the public will please join us.
And I understand you have some very interesting panelists at this event.
Yes, we do. We have service providers from 4 different agencies and a parent.
Very good, very good. And of course this event is open to the public and free?
It is. It's free. Let's come in and join us, and we'll be delighted to talk with everyone, and there'll be an opportunity for questions and answers after the presentation.
Very good. And the time is 7 to 8:30, correct?
That's right. And we will have you, and another representative from Aging and Disability Services to provide input and information on the way to get services.
And we're happy to be there. And of course, this building is very accessible, so anybody who uses a wheelchair will find it very easy to maneuver through this building.
That's right.
Well, thank you for joining me, Joanna. And Bronwyn, thank you very much, and good luck with the organization. It sounds like you're on a wonderful path.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be with you. And anyone who would like more information can read it on our website at givingtogether.org.
Excellent. Well, Karla, I'm going to send it back to you in the studio. Reporting from Severna Park for Anne Arundel County Week in Review, I'm Pam Jordan.
Thank you, Pam.
On January 10th at approximately 10:38 p.m., officers from the Eastern District responded to the Green Tree Exxon located in the 8,000 block of Crane Highway in Glen Burnie for a report of an armed robbery of a business. Joining us now is Public Information Officer Justin Mulcahy with further details on the investigation.
Thanks, Erik. When officers arrived on scene, they spoke with the store clerk, who indicated that a male subject entered the store, purchased items, and then left without incident. Now, several minutes later, the suspect re-entered the store holding a handgun. The suspect then proceeded to demand money from the cash register. The clerk complied with the demands by opening the register and turning over an undisclosed amount of U.S. currency. At that point, the suspect left the store in the direction of the car wash that was next door. Now, numerous officers in a canine unit canvassed the area but were unable to locate that suspect. Now, the suspect in this case is being described as a black male, about 5'10", with an average build, last seen wearing a hat. Please observe the footage on your screen. If you have any tips, certainly contact the police. Moving on now to our second incident that took place on January 9, 2011, around 9:33 p.m. Now, that's when officers from the Eastern District were dispatched to the 8300 block of Woodland Road in Pasadena for what came in as a report of a stabbing that just occurred there. Now, while en route, officers were flagged down by a male subject in the area of Fairwood Drive and Mountain Road. The subject indicated that the male victim in his vehicle was stabbed earlier. Officers located the 20-year-old male victim inside of the vehicle, suffering from multiple stab wounds. And that victim was transported to shock trauma, where he was in stable condition. During the course of the investigation, officers located several witnesses and identified a possible suspect. Based on preliminary information, it appears that the victim and the suspect were known to each other and involved in some sort of dispute over money. Fast forward to January 10th, after a thorough investigation, the Eastern District detectives applied for an arrest warrant for the aforementioned stabbing suspect that had been identified. Around 6:40 p.m., the Eastern District PAC unit located the suspect and arrested him without incident at a residence in the 300 block of Crandall Road in Severna Park. The suspect is currently being held without bail at the Anne Arundel Detention Center. That suspect is Damian Wayne Blake, age 31, of 303 Crandall Road in Severna Park, Maryland. Now, as always, if you have any information on any incidents on the show, don't hesitate to email, call, or text your tips to Metro Crime Stoppers hotline. It's available 24 hours a day, toll-free at 1-866-7-LOCKUP, or text message MCS plus your message to crimes at 274-637. You can also visit the website. That's www.metrocrimestoppers.net. Back to you, Erik.
Thank you, Justin. Well, Karla, it's been a good show so far. We had some very, very special guests here. 2 puppies.
Yeah, well, more than puppies.
That's right.
Although one is just 2 years old, so I guess
We can
still
call
has
them
a lot
puppies.
of
No, you're right. Thank you. They are police dogs, and they are some of the most important tools that a police department can have. I mean, there's so many uses for a canine dog in police work. Not only the bomb sniffing that we saw while they were here, the missing persons, the drug dogs, but they're also such an effective deterrent to preventing crime.
They are, and they're technically police officers.
They are police officers. They have badges. They don't carry guns, but
no, they don't.
They bite, and they probably hurt when they bite.
I think that's more of a deterrent than the guns sometimes.
Oh yeah, biting from a dog will hurt you. Let's talk a little bit about it. I mean, I saw these dogs. They did some fantastic things up here. Now, I know you have a dog.
I do.
Tell us a little bit about the fantastic things your dog does.
Well, he's not as well trained and definitely would not find an explosive device. He sits, he stays when he chooses to. Definitely not quite the same as these dogs. These dogs were impeccably trained. We learned that they train for at least an hour every day, and even more so since he lives with these dogs. So
absolutely,
yeah.
Well, it's definitely that's really it almost becomes a part of your life when you're a canine officer. So it was good to have Corporal Flagg in, and thank you to all the officers from our canine unit and all our police officers out there doing a great job in Anne Arundel County every day of the week.
And when we return, Erik will be joining us from the Week in Review Sports Palace to bring us this week's local sports highlights. Stay right with us. We'll be back.